Advertisers or TV producers or writers can't talk to us all individually, so we are positioned as ideal readers or viewers or recipients. It is, of course, a useful practical tool for you as advertisers and marketers to picture an ideal recipient to enable you to decide how best to speak to your target audience. It is also useful to think about it critically. Are you addressing an already existing audience, or are you actually constructing the identities of the people in it as well? You might wonder how you could possibly be doing that. Well, it can be argued that texts can only be read from subject positions, so consumers of texts often have to shift their identities to make sense of those texts. So what's a subject then? Rather than thinking of yourself as a physical individual, you can think of yourself as a linguistic subject, which refers to what you are because of the way that other people, and we could add media texts, speak to you. You could think about it that rather than an individual, as a subject you are the sum part of the set of roles that you are expected to play. The reoccurring theme here is that being a subject is about somehow interacting with things outside of you and being, as we said, constructed by them. Jacques Lacan had a lot to say about this. Here he is. I always think he looks pretty engaging, like he might have given more interesting classes than some of the other theorists we've considered. He also looks uncannily like my old music teacher, but I digress. Jacques Lacan says that you can inhabit multiple subject positions simultaneously, some of them contradictory. Consider the experience in the following clip of the characters in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Once again, this is very much my era and long before most of you were even thought of. It tends to get replayed though, so you might be familiar with it. In any case, it really gets to the heart of the point Lacan was just making, in ways that are still relevant today, I think.
Yo, homie, I'm not supposed to say anything, but you have nothing to worry about. You're in. Your word? Me and Carlton got in? Well, not exactly. I mean, you're cool and all, but Carlton, well, he's not exactly our type. What do you mean, not our type? Well, Carlton is not like you and me. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't know what you're saying. Will, Carlton doesn't exactly exemplify what I think a Phi Beta Gamma is. Oh, and what is that? Well, it's not Ralph Lauren shirts and wingtip shoes in corporate America. We don't need a brother like him in this fraternity. Man, he is exactly what you need in this fraternity. Carlton has been a straight A student since preschool. He gives you 150% every time. Look, Will, I realize he's your cousin and you have to defend him, but this discussion is closed. All right. Come on, man. Let's go. I didn't get in.
What? Why?
Look, I don't know, man. Come on. Just let's go.
How dare you not take Will? He's full of potential.
That's why we want him. It's you we don't want.
Me? But I did everything. I cooked, I cleaned, I hand-washed the toilets.
Everything your butler does for you. I'm not accepting no prep school, Bel-Air bred sellout into my fraternity. Homie, you can stop all that.
No, wait, Will. I got this one. You think I'm a sellout. Why? Because I live in a big house or I dress a certain way? Or maybe it's because I like Barry Manilow.
He meant Barry White, y'all.
Being black isn't what I'm trying to be, it's what I am. I'm running the same race and jumping the same hurdles you are, so why are you tripping me up? You said we need to stick together, but you don't even know what that means. If you ask me, you're the real sellout.
Yeah, that's right, boy. And in the words of my illustrious cousin, we gonna make like a tree and leave.
Hey, look, you don't speak for the rest of us, dog. I'm gonna have you kicked out of here. Make like a tree and leave. I never say that. It's make like a banana and split.
I'll keep that in mind, all right?
Did you notice how there's a really significant interplay for all the characters between ethnicity and social class? For the leader of the fraternity house, being black and middle or upper class are mutually exclusive because he sees being affluent as somehow having moved into the white world. If Lacan was at that party, though, he'd be saying the same as Will and Carlton, that even if those two subject positions seem in some way contradictory, a person can hold both at once, and indeed, that may very well be what changes broader relations of power in the end. A really key current person to hear from on this is Kimberly Crenshaw. She says that such positions are not contradictory, but rather they are holistic, complex subject positions that exist at the intersections of different aspects of identity, some of which may be empowered and others of which may be marginal. We can think of these intersections just like intersections of roads, with different aspects of our identities coming together at a specific, complex subject position that is unique. It is ours and ours alone. Crenshaw's approach is called intersectionality. It arose out of equality activism and can be applied usefully in textual and societal analysis. Let's hear from Ashley Zhang about what intersectionality is and what her experience of it is.
When I was in high school, my social studies teacher asked us to complete the sentence, I am... The catch was you could only use one word to describe yourself, but I have a lot of words. I'm Asian, I'm a woman, I'm a lesbian, I'm an immigrant. Even my name, Jiang Mengjue, is not a single word. So in one word, I am intersectional. What is intersectionality? An intersectional person is someone who's part of a number of marginalized groups. For example, some intersections are being gay and black, being woman and disabled, and being Chinese and lesbian, and pretty cute too. We are the kind of people who check off a lot of boxes when it comes to gender, sexuality, race, ability, class, body size. So, are white straight men intersectional with all their privilege? Yes, they can be. But the term intersectionality was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw to specifically illustrate the marginalized communities. She used it to explain the problems that immigrant women of color were facing in the 80s. She felt that neither the feminist or anti-racist movements were fully helping them to solve the problems. What about LGBT activism? It also struggles to address the problems of intersectional LGBT people. Call Me By Your Name, Brokeback Mountain, Modern Family, Will and Grace feature amazing queer characters, but they're only white, cis, upper-class gay men. In contrast, Moonlight is much more intersectional. Its lead character Chiron is not only gay, but also black, poor, a survivor of domestic violence, and the prison pipeline. These many aspects of Chiron inform each other. So, should I feel guilty for watching Call Me By Your Name 5 times? No, but just remember, Moonlight is more intersectional and we need more stories like that. But even in Moonlight, where are the queer women? Enter feminism! Feminism strives for a society where women have equal rights to men. Equal rights. Intersectional feminism works to include all women, not just the least oppressed ones. Because there are so many kinds of women, we need to fight oppression from all sides and stand together, even if the oppression doesn't directly target you. Nobody is perfect, but understanding intersectionality can make us more empathetic and more equal.
Now, why not take a few minutes to reflect on what your intersectional experience is, how it works in practice, and what the different forces are that are positioning you in subject positions? Is it society? Is it family, media? Is it culture or religion? Let's now hear from Louis Althusser, who, to be fair, doesn't look quite as happy as Lacan to be sharing his wisdom with us. Althusser claims that as well as the media positioning us, we position one another in everyday interactions. Think about how we tend to speak to young children, or in other words, how you address them. Or in other words, we might say how you make them a linguistic subject. Do you speak differently to little girls and little boys? You'd maybe like to think you don't differentiate, but my guess is that if you've ever said, "Aren't you a little princess?" to a child, it wasn't to a boy child. And if you've ever said, "Who's a cheeky wee chappie?" or "Aren't you a brave wee soldier?" it probably wasn't to a girl child. Lacan would say that these types of interactions are precisely what lead to quite inflexible gendered subject positioning. In the same way, media texts encourage us to position ourselves as a particular type of person, a particular type of woman, or a particular type of man who should look a particular way, behave in a particular way, be interested in particular things, and so on. Some of these subject positions may reinforce one another, and others may contradict one another. And to a certain extent, we will choose to engage with the media and the brands that reinforce the type of subject positions we want to have for ourselves. To build a bit on the illustration of the way we talk to children, Althusser uses the following analogy. You hear a police officer shout, "Hey you!" You have not done anything wrong, so there is no reason for the police officer to be addressing you. Nonetheless, even if there are other people around, you will probably react to the address by turning round. In effect, you have constructed yourself as a guilty party. Althusser calls this interpellation or hailing. In the same way, Althusser says that when you read, or we could add watch, a text, you are interpellated or hailed, and if you turn around or answer, i.e. if you engage with the text, you have accepted that hailing. You believe it was addressed to you, and so the positioning has worked. We can choose not to accept the subject positions provided for us, though it is often easier to do so. We can, however, as I mentioned, to some extent choose which ads and other media to engage with. This degree of choice does not exist in all modes, though. Think about targeted social media advertising or billboard advertising in your train station, bus stop, or a road you regularly travel. We could argue that as time goes on, the subject positioning that we are offered has become more flexible. Some ads proactively offer us different or more subject positions to choose from. Sometimes this is quite emancipatory. However, our debate about brands appropriating causes and fights for equality and so on comes in here again. If brands do that, are they giving us more flexibility or less? In that they're aligning our consumerism with our political opinion, campaigning priorities or whatever. I'd like to finish by asking you to watch an ad for Billy Razors and think about the subject positions offered in it. It is certainly rather different from more traditional ads for women's razors, so think about that, but also think about any ways in which it remains in any way constraining of the positions the women, or indeed anyone watching it, can hold.
A tomboy, that girl is a tomboy, that girl is a tomboy. Who that is? Oh, that girl is a tomboy, that girl is a tomboy, that girl is a tomboy. With my little titties and my fat belly, I can tell your man if you finna let me, it's a guarantee that he won't forget me. My body little, my soul is heavy. My little titties be booking cities all around the world. They be whipping with me. I'm a Calvin Klein model, come and get me. Set the resi up, don't be with me. My little titties are so itty bitty, I go locomotive, chitty chitty, bang bang. Gold hoops and a name chain, 10 boots and like 4 rings. Missy Elliott can't stand the rain. You lanes playing the same games. Who that is, ho? That girl is a tomboy. That girl is a tomboy. That girl is a tomboy. Who that is, ho? That girl is a tomboy.